Hey, Jordan here from ironandgrit.com. And today I want to talk about some mistakes that beginners make when they first start working out, when they first start training, when they're in the gym to make gains. And sometimes those gains are just hard to come by. And I understand that. I went through it. So I'm going to speak from experience. I'm going to speak from the heart. And I'm going to talk about things that I wish I did differently when I first started training. The number one thing, and the topic of this video, is I wish I would have learned about nutrition when I started training, or even before I started training. That was probably the biggest hindrance that I had. I had all the weights, I had all the opportunities and all the time that a young boy, adolescent man, whatever you want to call it, has in high school, to where I could have probably made gains 2 to 3 times quicker than what I actually did. And how I could have made gains quicker is if I would have not only trained smarter, that's a topic for a different day, but holding everything constant. If I had just eaten properly, if I had just eaten better, I would have had tremendous progress in a very short, relatively short amount of time. So what do I mean by eating better? If I was eating steak, if I was eating eggs, but you didn't see those two coming, and eating the salads, and eating vegetables, and eating pork chops, and just good whole foods and good whole meals, the gains would have came hands over fist. Like, when I think back to what I ate compared to what I eat now, 10 years after I started training, I made better gains more rapidly than when I first started training. And I'm talking about past the newbie gains phase. It's like I got newbie gains a decade later after I started training for the first time, because I started doing things that I should have done as a beginner. Eating properly. That's a big one. So I'll tell you what I was eating, because I was making progress, but it was mostly just out of sheer will. But I feel like I could have made a lot more progress in strength and size and a lot more quickly, if I would have eaten properly and taken the time to learn about nutrition, to cook my own meals, and to know what I was putting in my body. So I was eating the school lunches, during the school year, obviously, and during the day. So I was getting that. Those aren't super healthy. I mean, they have a certain nutrition requirements, but a lot of that stuff is prepackaged. It's processed food. It's just how it is. But in the mornings, I would wake up, I would eat cereal, Lucky Charms or Trix or something like that, Frosted Flakes. I'd go to school. By my second class, I remember my stomach was rumbling. So I was hungry. I wasn't drinking any water, barely any water. I might stop by the drinking fountain in between classes, and get a sip of water or something, but now I can't have water out of arm's reach because I drink over a gallon, maybe closer to 2 gallons of water or fluid a day. Between the black coffee that I drink and the distilled water, I might have a juice here and there, but I'd say at least 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of fluid a day, especially when training. Like if I'm training, if it's a workout day, yeah, I'm putting down at least 1.5 gallons, maybe, or 2 gallons of fluid that day. All right. So that's a side point. Stay hydrated. But the other thing is, so I'd get to school. Maybe I have a snack. I might have something processed. I might have one of those. I used to eat those cereal and milk bars, which was basically a candy bar. Just like a lot of protein bars today are basically candy bars. They're not really that good for you. I mean, they're probably better for you than a Snickers because they do have more protein in them, but I mean, when it comes to the ingredients, they're really not that good for you. They're just a glorified candy bar. All right, so next. So lunch, I mentioned lunch. I would have a school lunch, which really wasn't that good. I mean, I had chocolate milk. That was probably the best thing that I ate during lunch, as far as like quality nutrition goes. And that wasn't even that good because it's loaded with sugar because it's chocolate milk and it's ultra pasteurized. So, I mean, that really kills all the good bacteria and whatever. Anyway, long story. Just arrived at the gym, so I'm going to get comfortable here and finish this. And then for dinner, my mom was a really good cook. As I started getting older, and she worked at a restaurant, so she would, bring something home, and they used pretty good food. Like, she worked at a Mexican restaurant, and they made these really good steak wet burritos. So I would crush one of those, or sometimes they have a special like a mahi, so I'd chow down on that, or whatever she brought home, tacos, whatever. So that was a decent meal, but that was like few and far between as I got old. That was back pretty much when I was younger and before I started training. When I started training, started cooking less and less, I started eating more and more processed foods. I would eat a lot of ramen noodles. Like, I'd eat a pack of like 3 ramen noodles and maybe a couple of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And that would be, and with like a pop or 2 in the evening. And that would be like my snack, or that would be my dinner. So really not, let me rub that so you can see me clearly, really not quality food. All processed, not really that much nutrients in it. And oftentimes I would be hungry. Like, I didn't eat on a schedule. I mean, there was food in the house and I had a car. I could have drove to Taco Bell, had a few bucks in my pocket, and I could have got something to eat. And sometimes I did, but a lot of times I would be like either playing video games or doing schoolwork or something else where it's like I was so engrossed in what I was doing that I would be hungry, but I just like wouldn't respond to my stomach growling. I would just fight the hunger, stay engaged in whatever I was doing, and then just eat something later to where, I could eat like a dry ramen right out of the bag and it would taste good to me because I was hungry at that point. If not that, frozen pizza, ate a lot of frozen pizzas, yogurts occasionally, let's see, cereal for dinner sometimes. It's really nothing like quality. Like, I wasn't eating the steak and eggs like I'm eating today. Like, I maybe ate eggs, maybe once or twice a month when I was in high school. Maybe not even that. And it might have been when my parents made like an egg salad or something. We grilled out occasionally as a family, but this was all before I, started cooking and things like that. So yeah, I ate like crap. I really did. I ate a lot of processed food, a lot of like tortilla chips, nachos, a lot of Sun Chips. Those are really good though. Ice cream, a lot of like snack type foods, and a lot of processed foods. So yeah, they say when you're younger, you have the metabolism, you're growing, your body's like regenerating. It can take that stuff, and that's fine. What I would have done differently is, rather than cut those foods out that I did eat, I could have kept those in there and been completely fine. But what I would have done was add in better foods. I would have added in the steak. I would have eaten like a steak or 2 a day. I would have eaten a chicken breast or a chicken thigh a day, or a few drumsticks or chicken wings or something to get that extra protein and the extra nutrients and calories that I needed to build the muscles that I was training. Because that's the thing, I kind of starved my muscles. I'm kind of like naturally a long, lanky person. And if I would have eaten more of the diet like I have today, back then when I first started training, I would have cashed in double time on those newbie gains. And I think it would have made a big difference. I think it would have built up my physique a lot sooner, so I could have been enjoying, the fruits of my labor a lot quicker. But hey, that's the price of experience. You live and you learn, and that's kind of part of the reason why I'm saying this to you now is hopefully you can avoid that mistake. And if you just get started and then you learn things as you go, it's not going to be perfect. So don't wait till you have everything perfect to get started. Just get going and learn as you go. But do what you can to put in the time and the effort and the energy and focus into learning about nutrition, getting the baseline diet and nutrients and macros and protein and fat, healthy fats and carbohydrates into your diet that you need to make gains. And then as you go on, take good notes, kind of study yourself like a scientist would study a specimen in the lab, and see like how well you react to certain things, how well your body responds to certain foods, how well your mind responds to certain foods, how your energy levels fluctuate between certain foods, and things like that. So what I would recommend high level is, eat your good, clean, natural, whole foods as much as possible, and then use those natural foods and natural nutrition and nutrients to make sure that you cover your baseline nutritional needs while you're training. And then anything else on top of that, that's icing on the cake, baby. You can eat whatever you want on top of that. You want to go to Taco Bell afterwards? Fine. If you're bulking, obviously. Especially if you're younger, you've got a good metabolism. If you're already kind of like a lean person or like average build, but training, you can cut that fat off if you get fat afterwards, if you feel like it. So that's what I would recommend, and that's what I would do differently if I could go back and start from day one back in the gym. Is I would learn about nutrition. I would learn how to cook like 2, 3, 4 meals that I enjoy eating and that I know are going to get me to my nutritional baseline. And I would, get 2, 3 solid whole food meals every single day. And then everything on top of that I wanted to eat, I would eat. And this is going for someone that's, either naturally lean or probably has an average build that's just starting to work out. And then I would work out 4 days a week. I'd probably start there. And if you feel compelled, depending on your goals and how much energy and time you have and your drive, then, you can train 5-6 days a week. That's fine. So that's all I got for now. I got to get this workout in so I can get home at a decent hour tonight and get this video posted, among a few other things. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to help you out however I can. And plus it's great too, because if you ask a question in the comments, someone else probably has that question, and you can be helping yourself and helping others learn something new. So like and subscribe, please, if this was helpful. I'm trying to get to 1,500 subs. That's my next goal. And guys, help spread the word if you can. And I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.